Hello, this is Forrest Price with your 100 Mondays. Yes, we're up to number 2. We are starting our addictions. Our first addiction is going to be to the weed. Yes, the weed. And I've come up with an addiction prayer that I might do for every addiction that we have that was more important in this election and possibly even racism itself. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please help me set aside everything I think I know about myself, my disease, these steps, and especially you, for an open mind and a new experience with myself and my disease. I know in my heart that only you can restore me to sanity. I humbly ask that you remove all twisted thought and addictive behavior from me this day. Heal my spirit and restore to me a clear mind. I have tried to control the uncontrollable for far too long. I ask that you take this burden from me. I acknowledge that my life is unmanageable. I ask for your care and guidance. Grant me honesty, courage, humility, and serenity to face that which keeps me from you and others. I give this life to you to do as your will. Amen. All right, let's start with what is bad about weed. Well, you have trouble thinking and remembering. You have a dry mouth. You have an increased appetite. Your heart rate increases and you have slow coordination. I don't think any weed smoker can rebuke me on at least these scientific things. I know they have all kind of words to say how natural it is and it's this and that, but the reality is everything I just listed is true. And I said every subject, I will not be a hypocrite. I will tell you my own story. Yes, I used to smoke weed way back in the day. I mean, I would say between the age of 15 and 18, I won't say I did it every day, but probably darn near, I at least had one puff or two. I can honestly say I've never bought any. I think there was maybe 2 occasions where I did, where it was always a female included. So just hanging out, there was always some around. So it always got passed to me, and then I never turned it down. So I am not going to sit here and be a hypocrite to say I've never done it. But I will say I did not make a conscious decision to stop. It just sort of happened. I went off to college and I found out that alcohol was a lot more fun. So I just stopped. It was no big epiphany and I said, okay, I'm going to quit today. No, it just normally happened and I never did it again. And I'm never going to do it again. And I have no desire to ever do it again. Now, my stance on it, I'll make it clear. Should it be legalized? Yes. Should it be legalized for recreational use? Yes. I have no problem with it. I have no problem. My problem is the addictive nature. And when I say addictive nature is when you have to do it every day. If you can't go a day without doing something, tell you something. And when you use your addiction and it prevents your progress, that is a problem. Something can be okay for you to do, but when you do it at an excess and you can't stop and you have to do it every day, it's an addiction. So that is my stance. I'll even tell you a story. I was on a jury a long time ago. It was right when they first, I think, legalized it, or you could only do it for medical reasons, and you can grow it for medical reason. This brother, actually was in Compton. He had a house. And he had just loads of it where the stocks would go past his wall. And on the other side of that wall was a family with like 8 kids. And the kids would come on the wall and they would pick the weed from his yard. And they eventually arrested him saying that this is nowhere for medical use. Now, I'll tell you the first had 9 not guilty and 3 guilty, and I was one of the 3 guilties because logically there's no way that was for just medical use. But I knew I would change my vote, and I got the other 2 to change. So brother was found innocent, but that was the extent of that. And I don't say that cured my mind to say, well, excessive. I'm strictly about how addictive you can make it. Now you can say, oh, well, it's not addictive. Well, if you do it every day, it is. If you can't go a day without doing it, it is. It is an addiction. And it prevents you from doing stuff. About 3 years ago, I drove Lyft for about 3 months. Just did it to get experience with dealing with people. And to tell you, the countless of time people got in my car with weed all over their clothing. And that's not just the bad part. A lot of times I was driving these people to work. I mean, like early in the morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning. They got their workman uniform on, and you can smell the weed all on their jacket. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, why are you putting yourself in this position where you can get fired? And then I realized one of our biggest problems is that, again, like with the other one, who let you get away with? Your church lets you get away with, because we don't talk about it. We don't make a stance about it. Your job lets you get away with it because they don't test you. Even though it might be in the manual, they ain't testing you unless you have a driver position, and then it's a liability issue if you had an accident and they have to drug test you. But there ain't I don't know anyone who gets just a random drug test anymore, even though it's on there. So your job's not looking for it. So if I know I'm driving you to a job and I can smell the weed all on you, that means your employer don't care either. And that's part of the problem. If you see someone who is constantly weed all on them, then they're doing it every day. Now, I know there's a weed culture out there, and that's fine. That's fine. I actually drove a dude to it was called the Cannabis something. Drove him all the way to Riverside, and he said that was his dream, his lifetime dream, because it was always, every year it used to be in Europe, and it was the first time it was in the States. And he said that was his dream come true, and the dude was like 30-something. And I'm sitting like, are you kidding me? This was your dream? Okay, all right. Anybody who thinks you are a part of this and you are addicted to weed, there is a weed hotline, and I'm going to give it to you. It's 1-800-662-HELP. So please get help, because our addictions run deep with all kinds of things, and I'm going to come with you with all kinds of addictions that we ignore and we just let go. All right. I didn't talk to anybody, so I can't give you a reference. So next week's topic, that's more important than that election and even maybe racism, is vanity. How vain we are. And I'm going to go deep because this is a subject that I literally can't stand. Why people care so much about what other people think. So I will catch you next Monday. Peace, be well, God bless.